Good morning and welcome to today's verse. To God be the glory. What a great day it is today. Today's verse, it comes to us from the book of Judges. Judges chapter 7 verse 9, and it says this. It happened on the same night that the Lord said to him, to who? To Gideon. He said to him, arise, go down against the camp, for I have delivered it into your hand. Here we have the story about how Gideon, with a force of 300 men, came against the enemy, the Midianites, and overpowered them and overtook them and won the victory. God gave him the victory. When I was in the military, those of us who were fortunate enough to attend the Army War College at Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania, we would often study the military battles, campaigns of different nations. But there was one nation that we would never study, and that was Israel. Why? Because God had given them the victory against insurmountable odds, and it made no sense as far as using their tactics or any military strategy to overcome their enemy. God and God alone delivered them, as he would in the battle between Gideon and the Midianites. Gideon had a force of 300 men going against an enemy in excess of 125,000 men. Gideon didn't start out as this mighty man of war, this mighty warrior who wholeheartedly trusted in the Lord. But God would have to test and strengthen his faith in order to use Gideon to deliver the Israelites from the Midianites who had encamped below. The Bible described the forces of the Midianites as if they were like locusts covering the face of the earth, and their camels were as numerous as the sand by the seashore. In other words, they were really just too many to number. But there are some scholars that say that the Midianite forces was around 135,000 soldiers. Gideon started out with 32,000 men in his army, and yet God said that's too many. And they were already outnumbered 4-1, but God said that was too many. But yet it was possible that they would have the victory since they had the high ground and they could overcome the Midianites. So God would whittle down, God would institute what I would call his own reduction in force, his own RIF, R-I-F, reduction in force, where he would reduce their numbers down even further. So he called Gideon, said to them that for those that are fearful, have them return. So 22,000 soldiers returned, leaving 10,000. Yet that 10,000, God would test even further, have them to go to quench their thirst, go down by the water brook. And there were some that would bow down, get down on their hands and knees like a dog and lap the water. And there was others that would cup the water with their hands, standing alert and focused. And so it was 300 that did that. And so with this 300, God would use that to defeat the Midianites. God had to continue to strengthen Gideon's faith even further. He allowed him to go down into the camp of the enemy and overheard this dream. And it was interpreted that it was Gideon that would come into the camp of the Midianites and destroy the enemy. And so with that, Gideon trusted in the Lord. He worshiped the Lord and was ready to do whatever God had called him to do. We often ourselves, we need our faith strengthened, especially when we face all sorts of problems and difficulties in life. We might face trials and tribulations, temptations such as sickness and disease, broken relationships, a lost job, financial difficulties, whatever. Our faith too may waver, but God is able to strengthen us, for in our weakness, God's power is made perfect. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. Trust in the Lord, and he will strengthen your faith. He will calm your fears, and he will give you the victory. To God be the glory for the great things he has done. I pray that you would meditate upon this verse. It would be a word of encouragement to you as you go throughout your day. I pray that you would have a great day. Have a safe day. And then tune in again tomorrow, yes, as we consider today's verse. Amen.